101 review. Book 101 is all about the books that are read for the last 40 years. And today I have my special guest. He is the author of the book Real Impact Daily Inspiration, no other than Mr. Dennis J. Henson. Welcome to Book 101, Mr. Dennis, and can you please introduce more about yourself?
Thank you, Daniel. I appreciate you having me today. I've been a real estate investor for a number of years, and I'm an international speaker, best-selling author, and I'm here today to talk about my newest book, Real Impact Daily Inspiration.
Mr. Dennis J. Henson, thank you so much for sharing your talents to the world. And thank you for being a best selling author. So, what inspired you to write Real Impact Daily Inspiration?
When I started in business back in 1975, the company that I started with gave me three books: Think and Grow Rich, Success the Glenn Bland Method, and The Greatest Salesman in the World by Og Mandino. So after I read those books, I got really excited. I loved the feeling of being motivated and inspired. So I wanted to read more. Well, back in 75, we didn't have an internet. There was no way to search. There were no Google. So the only way you could find out what books were great was to go find successful people and ask them. So as I read a lot of books, I started keeping a list of the ones that really motivated me. So years later, I moved to Dallas Fort Worth area and started investing in real estate here and became successful. And I started a real estate group. So one of the members of the group came to me and said, "Dennis, I want you to mentor me and I'll pay you." And I said, "Well, I don't have time for that. I'm busy doing my real estate and I have this group." Well, he was very insistent. He said, "Let's go out to eat. We'll talk about it and you'll be my mentor." So I said, "Okay, we'll go out to eat," but I was not going to be his mentor. So after we ate, he reached in his pocket and pulled a checkbook out and handed it to me and said, "Here, Dennis, fill this checkbook out." And I said, "You mean the amount?" And he said, "Yes." So I said, "Okay, this will end this. I'll put a number here that he won't pay." So I filled it in and gave it back to him. He took the check out, signed it, and handed it to me without even looking at the amount. So that's when I started teaching. So I thought, well, if I'm going to charge all this money to teach, I better have a really good program. So I put together a training program that I thought would really be super. And it was. My students were so successful, I began to get invited to speak at other real estate groups. I was speaking at expos all over the United States. And then I was on a podcast one day when the host said, "Dennis, why are your students so successful?" And I said, "Well, I have them form success habits. If they can form success habits, they will become successful." And then the host said, "What's the number one success habit that they should form?" And I said, "Form the habit of reading something positive every day that leads you toward your goal." So after the podcast, I was thinking of what a great answer that was. And I thought, wouldn't it be wonderful if someone came up with an app or a book or something to help people form that habit? And then it hit me. For 50 years, I'd been collecting books and poems and quotes and short stories. I could put those all in a book and then people could form the habit regardless of their time. If they have 5 minutes, they can read a poem. If they have 30 minutes, they can read a short story. Or if they have an hour, they can read one of the accompanying books in the back. And if they get home at night right before bed and they think, "Oh, I forgot to read today," they can turn over and read a quote right before they go to sleep. So I thought, well, I have all this information. It won't take any time to put this together. In a couple of months, I'll have a book. So I started working on this book. 6 years later, last year, it took me 6 years to put this together the way I wanted it. And it came out last year. And then we put it up on Amazon, and the ratings started coming in. And I mean, they are fantastic. People love the book. I mean, it's absolutely been accepted. It's a wonderful acceptance. It's got more than 100 reviews and a 5-star average, which, if you're an author, you understand that's pretty difficult. Long answer to a short question.
Congratulations, Mr. Dennis, for sharing your best-selling book to the world. So, how do you define real impact in everyday life?
Well, the reason it has an impact on everyday life is because it's a trick. In order to use the book the way it was intended, form the habit of reading something positive every day to lead you toward your goal, you have to know what your goal is. That's big. If you know what you really want, where you want to go, you're 90% there. Then reading something every day that moves you in that direction, Daniel, that reminds you every day of what the goal is. It's like putting a rudder on a boat. If a boat's setting out in the middle of the water without a rudder, you can go as fast as you want to, but it's not going to take you where you want to go. But once you put that rudder on there, you can go directly to where it is that you want to go. So the book has a number of hidden things in there that can that can move you forward and make a tremendous impact on your life.
So, Mr. Dennis, what was your primary goal when creating daily inspiration for readers?
Well, Daniel, I didn't write the book to make $1 million. I wrote the book to help 1 million people. So I'm 77 years old, and I won't be around for 30 more years. 30 years from now, I'll just be a memory. But I want to leave a legacy so that the world's a better place when I leave than when I came. And the purpose of the book is to help people. And if it's okay with you, I would like to give every one of your listeners a free copy of the ebook version. Is that okay?
Yes, indeed.
Okay.
Definitely.
Okay. So if they'll go to realimpactbook.com, scroll down to the bottom of the page where it says podcast attendee, they can click on that, and there's 3 gifts. The second gift is an instant download of the book, and there's no strings attached. You will not be put on a mailing list. You'll just get the book. Now, there is a link there that says, please notify me when you have other books. And I've got several other books in the works. You may want to get a notification. That's the only time you'll ever hear from me, unless there's at the top of the website, it says contact us. If you want to contact me and talk to me or send me an email, that tells you how right there.
So, Mr. Dennis, why is daily inspiration important for personal growth?
Well, Zig Ziglar once said, little by little, a little becomes a lot. If you only read 20 pages on a 200-page book every day for a year, you will have read 20 books. That's 19 more books than the average person. That will set you apart. That will have a real impact on your life.
Certainly. And Mr. Dennis, thank you for the free ebook
You're
that you
welcome.
shared to our listeners. Please do grab that opportunity, people. And I hope this book of Mr. Dennis will be like Think and Grow Rich. Until now, is still echoing and helping lots and lots of people all over the world. So, how do you select the quotes or messages included in the book?
Well, as time went by, I met I'm not Zig Ziglar. I met Jim Rohn back in 1975. And he suggested that you write everything down in a journal. So I started writing poems, quotes, short stories, and these books down in 75. And so I had a large collection of them. And when I decided to do the book, I had to go through them and pick out the very best ones. Because if I'd have put them all in there, it wouldn't have been a book, it would have been an encyclopedia. It would have been 10 books. So,
Encyclopedia.
yeah, this book is the best of the best.
Definitely the best of the best self-help book. It's you, are you this book is categorized as self-help book, Mr. Dennis.
Yes, it's a self help book.
Awesome. So can you share one of your favorite daily inspiration from the book?
Well, I've already told you one of the quotes, the Zig Ziglar quote. I like that. And another one is by Ogmandino. That one says, I will form good habits and become their slave. That's powerful. If you change your habits, it'll change your life.
Certainly. So how do you suggest readers incorporate these daily inspirations into their routines?
It's very simple to do because, regardless of their time, if they have 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 30 minutes or 3 seconds, there's something in there that they can read. The book was not written to be read from cover to cover. It says in the beginning how to use this book. So you read a little bit, you sip it like fine wine. If you read it straight through, you probably wouldn't get much out of it because it's just too much. But if you take it a little at a time, if you took a glass of fine wine and just drank it all at once, you would have wasted the glass of wine because that's not how you drink it. But if you take this book and you just read a little, it's not about the quantity, it's about the quality. You read till something really moves you and then you contemplate it. So the longer you can think about it, the more help it will give you.
So, Mr. Dennis, have readers shared any inspiring stories with you after reading your book?
I had one person come in and they said, Dennis, I read your book. I really loved it. And I said, well, what was your favorite story? And he said, I love the story about the girl that came from Brazil that could barely speak English. And she got you to help her and it just turned her life around. And I laughed and I said, well, that's not really a story in the book. That's a testimonial from one of my students that was saying why you should listen to me. But sometimes people ask me if I've heard a story of this and that. Most of the time, the stories that I find them myself. I listen when I'm walking every day. I have a ritual of walking miles every day to keep my health, to keep healthy. And while I'm walking, I listen. So I listen to YouTube, I listen to motivational materials, and I'm always looking for new and different and better stories. I just found one earlier this week called Checkmate. And so your listeners might want to go to YouTube and look up Checkmate, and that story will be in Real Impact 3, except it'll be a lot longer because when I do a story, I thoroughly research it. And I found that one to be quite interesting and motivational.
So, Mr. Dennis, how does daily inspiration differ from motivation in your view?
Most motivational books have some kind of a plan. If you do this and you do this and you do this, you'll feel better. Well, this book is not like that. This book is not about do this, and do this. This book is reading about inspirational and motivational material that's proved to improve people's I guess, to improve their desire to go out and do something really exciting, having seen what other people have been able to do with very little.
So, how did writing this book impact your own life or perspective?
For the past 6 years, it's been my total focus. I mean, I have several other businesses. I have I have a big real estate investing business. I've had a real estate franchise where we taught other people to do real estate groups. And I have a note business where I loan money and so forth. So those businesses kind of run themselves. I put my full effort and focus and time in on doing this book for the last 6 years. And that was a big change for me because for the previous 50 years, I'd worked really hard on real estate.
So, Mr. Dennis, what role does positivity play in creating lasting impact?
Well, the first of the seven secrets of success is to get your mind right. To get your mind right, you need to be able to focus. You have to know what you want. Once you decide what you want, you need to develop a burning desire to get that and then concentrate on it every single day. Of course, the book helps you do that because when you pick it up to start to read, you got to think, well, I'm reading something that's going to move me toward my goal, and my goal is this. So, getting your mind right and positivity, having a positive mental attitude uh, is is key. Like Henry Ford said, if a fellow believes he can do a thing, he's probably right. But if a fellow believes he can't do a thing, he's probably right. So faith is part of that getting your mind right.
Faith. For sure. Very well said, Mr. Dennis. Very well said. Beautifully articulated.
Thank you.
And what advice would you give someone struggling to stay consistently inspired?
Read something positive every day. That's why the book was
Like
written.
your book.
Exactly. That's if you want to be inspired, like you mentioned, Think and Grow Rich, well, there's another 50 or 60 books just like that listed in the back. So get that list, and many of those books are free. You can just go to Google and say, here's the name of the book, and put PDF, and you'll get it immediately and no charge. So reading motivational books has always helped me to stay motivated.
Yes, for sure. So, thank you for your advice, Mr. Dennis. So, what will be your short term and long term goals in writing?
Well, I just finished The Laws of Nature for Success. I'm polishing it right now, and it's going to be going to the formatter. I have 5 books on real estate investing coming out. So my goal is to have a book a month come out in 2025. So that's a pretty awesome task, but most of the books are 90% finished already. So it's a doable task. And my major goal is to get the Real Impact book in front of 1 million people to help 1 million people. And your audience can help me do that if they would like. On the realimpactbook.com, there's a tab that says Help the Children. So I have a GoFundMe program there. If you click on that, you can donate, and the money you donate will purchase books to give to libraries and disadvantaged communities, to schools and disadvantaged communities, to senior citizen centers and nursing homes. And all of the money that's donated goes directly into purchasing the books for the schools.
Congratulations, Mr. Dennis, for helping the world to be better place to live.
Thank you.
And good luck to your goals. So, how do you think small daily practices can lead to significant change over time?
I had a terrible health problem back in 2018. I came out of the hospital. I was blind. I couldn't stand up. I was, very, very poor health. My goal was to become healthy, have a clear mind, and be able to do whatever I wanted to and not look like I had really been sick. So I started walking every day. At first, I would walk to the end of the cul-de-sac and back, and my wife would hold my arm. That's where I started. Then I walked around the block. Then I walked a mile. Then I walked 2 miles, and so on. And so since 2018, I walked. I walked every single day, thousands of steps. Now, I'm 77 years old, and my mind is clear. I can see perfectly. My body works well. I exercise every day. I feel great. So that's what just a little bit a day can do. That's just in one part of my life, my health, but it works in all parts of your life. It's not just your health. It can be your business. It can be religion. It could be whatever you want it to be, whatever your goals are. Taking a little bit, doing a little bit every day toward that will make a major difference in a short time.
Certainly. And how do you ensure daily inspirations resonate broadly with diverse readers?
The book is for everyone. There's not anyone that forming the habit of reading something positive every day that leads you toward your goal, whatever your goal is. There's no one that won't help. I mean, high school graduates, college graduates, people in nursing homes, people that have businesses, salesmen. It's it's wide open. I cannot think of anyone that would not benefit if they used the book the way it's outlined.
Certainly. So, do you believe daily inspirations can help someone overcome serious setbacks or crisis?
The stories and poems and quotes in the book have helped me. That's why they're in the book, because they helped me at one time when I was having a difficult time. And that's why I captured them and kept them for 50 or 30 or 40 or 10 or 20 years. So they're already proven to work. And my students are also proof. In the front of the book, it has testimonials from a lot of my students that says, you should listen to what this guy says because he'll change your life. And that it's not, you know, it's not me, but it's what I've learned over the years that I'm just sharing with other people.
Yes, indeed. So, Mr. Dennis, before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, Food 101, in its fifth season, People fifth season, with Chef Alessandro, one of the specialty chef in one of the five-star hotel in downtown Toronto. Please do listen to our latest episode. We are reading our letters senders all over the world. So please do listen Food 101 wherever you listen your podcast. So Mr. Dennis, what's one message from your book that you hope to stays with readers forever?
Get your mind right. If you get your mind right, it'll change your life.
Totally agree. Mr. Dennis J. Henson. Thank you so much for sharing your empowering books to the world. So, can you please invite our listeners to support all your books?
Yes, please, everybody go to realimpactbook.com and it's a great website. It's got lots of links. Go to Amazon and check out the reviews for Real Impact Daily Inspiration, or search Dennis Henson. And if I can ever be of help to anyone, go to contact us, send me an email, give me a call.
Yes, people, let's support Mr. Dennis J. Henson because if you support him, more and more and more empowering books or best selling books to come. So, Mr. Dennis, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me, Daniel. It was fun.
More to come, people. See you soon.